We're just going to give it a moment and let the waiting room clear. Please make sure you're muted as you enter. You're going to get started. Good afternoon. This is a hearing before the Boston Cannabis Board, the BCB. Today is February 12th, 2025. Today's hearing is being conducted pursuant to amendments to the open meeting law. This is what allows us to meet virtually. This hearing is being recorded and will be posted to the City of Boston's website. Before I review some procedural matters, I will introduce Chairwoman Kathleen Joyce.
Thank you, Jasmine. Good afternoon. My name is Kathleen Joyce. I'm Chair of the Boston Cannabis Board. Today I'm joined by Commissioner Lisa Holmes, Commissioner John Smith, Commissioner Gabriel Camacho, Commissioner Ramon Soto, and Commissioner Sonal Gandhi.
Thank you, Chairwoman Joyce. My name is Jasmine Nguyen, and I am the Boston Cannabis Board Manager. Today we are holding our license permits inspection, transactional, and voting hearing. We will begin with our license permits inspection hearing. I will call each item in the order it appears on the agenda. I will then ask who is present on behalf of the licensee, the Boston Police Department, and whether there are any individuals with personal knowledge of the alleged incident. I will then swear in all parties. After that, the police report will be read into the record. The licensee or their representative will have an opportunity to make a brief statement, followed by questions, comments from the commissioners. Again, all testimony for this matter will be limited to individuals with personal knowledge of the alleged incident. The item is the licensee is New Dia Fenway LLC, doing as New Dia. The license premise is 48 to 62 Brookline Avenue. This is a marijuana retailer license. Manager of record is Kyle Chambers. The date of the incident, January 25th, 2025. The police report was written on January 25th, 2025. The alleged incident is advertising free marijuana products in violation of 935 CMR 500.125-4B20, and expired license 2023 posted in violation of Board's Rule 2.01. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
That would be myself, Ross Bradshaw.
Anybody else with you, or you're just representing yourself?
Just representing myself today.
Okay. Who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department?
I am Detective Hernandez.
Okay. Are there any other individuals with personal knowledge of the incident that wishes to testify?
Sergeant Detective William Gallagher, if need be.
Great. Can you all raise your right hand? Great. Do you swear to tell the whole truth? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Thank you. Detective Hernandez, you may read the police report.
Good afternoon. I'll be reading from a police report which I wrote on Tuesday, January 21st, 2025. Sergeant Detective William Gallagher and Detective Eddie Hernandez assigned to the BPD License Permit Unit responded to New Dia Fenway Weed Dispensary. Detectives were there to speak to staff regarding a complaint that had been received regarding the establishment giving away free pre-rolled cannabis cigarettes. Detectives were able to view an article dated January 21, 2025 in the Boston Globe that stated the dispensary had been giving away free joints. Detectives also noted that the dispensary's own website advertised "Celebrate your birthday with a pre-rolled on us." As detectives walked up to the establishment, they observed a large outdoor speaking providing music. Detectives, upon reviewing the establishment's license certificates, permits, detectives noticed that the establishment had no entertainment license. Detectives also noted that the posted marijuana license had expired on 12/31 of 2003. Detectives brought these issues to the attention of the person in charge, Mr. Brendan Raymond. Mr. Raymond immediately turned off the speaker and brought it inside. As a result of what detectives observed, Sergeant Detective Gallagher issued a license premise inspection notice 020679 for premise providing outside entertainment, the speaker, without a City of Boston entertainment license, an expired marijuana retail license posted, and a premise advertising free marijuana cigarettes. Mr. Raymond signed for and accepted the notice. That's all.
Thank you, Detective. Mr. Bradshaw, would you like to address the incident?
Yes, so I think addressing based on the first violation that was noted, I think there are two separate issues, at least with the advertising, if you would. One is the violation of the advertising, and then the other is the pre-rolls, right? In regards to the advertising, when I look back at what was cited in terms of the Boston Globe article, and I look at the CC regulation that was cited, I actually don't think we violated any of those regulations. Um, the Boston Globe article, there's no quote on our end. It's more so the author of the article took the liberty of speaking of our establishment, but no form are we advertising, I would say. In regards to the free pre-roll, I think that was a miscommunication because we actually don't give away any free pre-rolls. On November 26th, we had the CCC do their surprise inspection. They went through all of our metrics, which is the track and seed to steel track system. They also did a review of our entire facility, and that was not a violation. So what we have done in the past is we've done certain promos. So if you're someone who signs into our loyalty program, what we do is you can get a pre-roll for a penny, or if you bring a friend, if you bring a new customer that comes to the store for the first time, then we do have incentives for our loyal customers. But in no shape or form do we give away free pre-rolls. According to the CCC guidelines, at the very least, they're charged a penny. There is a transaction that occurs for any type of goods that are provided in the store. So I can go on to the license after if you like.
No, you can address both. Yeah.
In regard to the license, yes. So that falls on me. I think it's important to note that we have never operated without an active license. As you know, the license is actually physically given. It's not something that you guys tend to email. And I personally picked up the license on November 26th, which was the same day as our CCC audit. That's how I'm crystal clear on the dates. And I actually brought that back to our facility to show the CCC the new license, and they also viewed the old license. And so I think there was probably a mishap on my end, not communicating to my team to provide them the new license to post. But that license was always on premise. It was most likely within 50 feet of the officer when he had asked for it. But that's my responsibility to speak to my team and let them know that we did have that license and it should have been posted. So those are the only comments I have at this time.
All right, we'll move to the commissioners. Chairwoman Joyce, do you have any questions, comments?
Yes, so Sergeant Gallagher or Detective Hernandez, were they cooperative when you showed up?
Yes, ma'am. They're very cooperative. No problems with them. Easy to deal with. Very nice.
Okay, were they surprised? Did they think that they were in compliance with the state and city regulations?
We had heard a lot of what I just heard about the 1 cent, and I didn't hear about the promotional stuff, but we heard that the marijuana wasn't free. It was literally a penny. And I said, well, you're going to need to address this when we have our hearing. And I guess that's why we're here today. But the license, the gentleman we talked to wasn't sure. I said, listen, it's, this is 23 that's up. I should see a 25. I don't see the 24. And he just did not have the knowledge of where it was at the time. But he was a night manager. We were there probably at about 11 o'clock at night.
Okay. Ross, do you have receipts of people that paid a penny for these pre-rolls?
Yeah, we have all those transactions in our system.
So can you forward those to the board?
Receipts, we're probably talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. I mean, this is
Well, some receipts, like you're being written up for giving away free marijuana. You're saying you charge a penny. So if you could follow up something that shows that you are charging them something.
No problem at all.
And so so you're saying that this was a misunderstanding between you and the reporter?
So I never spoke to the reporters. So My understanding when I spoke with the team is that this article was based on dry January. They spoke with one of our members of our marketing team, and they were not aware that they were, even if they were, it's fine. But that wasn't the premise. So when we talk about advertising in terms of the CCC guidelines, that was not our form of advertising at all. And in fact, I don't think that would even meet the guidelines for CC advertising guidelines.
Okay, let's see. All right, I might have more questions. I'll turn it over to Commissioner Holmes. Do you have any questions?
I do. I just want to clarify. So and it's probably going to be more for the BPD people. So the result of you responding to this location was based on the Globe article, not on an actual person making a full complaint to you, right?
That's correct.
Okay, and when you arrived, you did not observe any of what was alleged.
That's correct.
With the exception of the license, being wrong in the speaker. But as far as any free marijuana products, none of that was actually observed by either of you, right?
No, they were a couple customers in the store. We did not witness any transactions. We were alerted to this, and through the Globe article, we printed that. We brought that to them. Then before we went on to their webpage where we saw the free marijuana for the birthday, and we presented that as well to them.
Okay, so you did see an ad on their website that offered a free joint for whatever reason. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And then you observed the speaker, which was a violation outside,
Yeah.
as well as the expired license.
That's correct.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
Sarge, would you be able to send, I know the chairperson, could you also send us a copy of that advertising that you had?
It's attached with the report that the license board has, ma'am.
Okay,
It's in
okay.
the folder.
It is? Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't catch it this morning. Okay, thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
If I could also address that too, in terms of the website. So maybe it's a little cheeking tongue, but I think the exact verbiage that was cited in the violation was join on us, which once again, we don't provide any joints for free. That it's always at least some exchange of monetary value for it. In addition to that, as I mentioned on the November 26th, we had the CCC inspect our entire website, and they did not deem that as an issue at that point in time. So it could have been a miss on their end, but once again, we thought we were operating entirely within the regulations, given the fact that less than 60 days beforehand, we had 7 commissioners, or not commissioners, inspectors of the CCC in our built facility for an entire day, reviewing our website, reviewing our facility, reviewing our security. And that was not one of the items that they deemed as a deficiency.
So that same advertising or web page that the sergeant and the detective are talking about was actually was up a month prior in November when CCC viewed it?
Yeah, in fact, they found one other. I can give you a little clarity too, because I think not just myself, a lot of operators, it's a little vague. What they did cite on the website is us having slashes on prices sometimes, and this is what a lot of people do. If you go to like Walmart.com, they'll say 20% off, and they'll slash the number and write the new number. They cited that as something we couldn't do, but by no means did they say anything in regards to the birthday pre-roll.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Commissioner Smith, do you have any questions, comments?
Yeah, just real quick. Ross, so yeah, the website says, and of course, celebrate your birthday with a pre-roll on us. So it doesn't talk about doesn't actually say free, but it doesn't actually say a penny or anything. So you're meaning that you were going to charge for that? Because that's what I'm looking at right now.
It is vague. It's a little cheek and tongue, if you would. So that is something that we can take care of. But by no means would anyone come in to get that as a free pre-roll. I understand that it sounds that's what we're leading on, but that's not in fact what we are doing.
That's not what you're doing. Okay. Yeah, I'm just looking at it now. All right. Interesting. Thank you.
Commissioner Camacho?
Yes. Ross, what were your hours of operation or closing time of January 25th?
Midnight.
midnight. Okay. That's my only question, and I do have a comment, and that is, I'm not a wordsmither, but joint on us does not necessarily mean free. So that's my only comment.
Commissioner Soto?
No comment. Thank you.
Commissioner Gandhi?
No questions or comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the board members before?
Yeah, Ross, where and when did the CCC say you could sell these for a penny?
So actually, so this is relevant to a lot.
Does the CCC know this? Because what I'm reading in the bulletin from the CCC is that it's actually specifically not allowed, not permitted.
Yeah, so you're probably looking at a bulletin that was issued on the 21st of January, correct? Which seems to be the same day the article was published.
Okay.
This is something that actually is happening throughout the industry, and so that bulletin that they did provide is very vague. So one of the things that we have done is they refer to as fair market value of cannabis, which I don't know how to determine what that is. So what we have done is that birthday pre-roll, I have to confirm with my team. I think it is now $1, right? So it just
I don't think it's vague. What I'm reading is pretty clear. The CCC is aware that some licensees are distributing marijuana and marijuana products in its inventory to registered agents, consumers, and other licensees far below market price, comma. For example, a penny, comma, 5 cents, comma, or $1, hereinafter referred to as pennying out. Oftentimes, these distributions are falsely attributed to a vendor quality control sample or an employment discount program and used by licensees to provide free samples at trade shows, other industry events, or to consumers. Semicolon. This practice is incompatible with the commission law and in certain circumstances may be considered diversion. Then it says, see General Law, Chapter 94G, Section 4, A and a half, da 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 da. What's not clear there? What's vague?
So I guess what's not clear to us is that wasn't even marked as a deficiency for us when we had their inspection on November 26th. And they did a thorough review of all of our sales and transactions. And then they come out with the bulletin on the 21st. So I think that for us is a little bit vague. But regardless, one of the things that we've done is like the birthday pre-roll, I'll confirm with my team, but that is now $1. And I think some of the vagueness is what is the fair market value of a pre-roll right now? I can ask 1,000 experts right now in Massachusetts, and I don't think anyone would give me the same consistent answer. So like, I'm not, I think this is something that the CCC needs to clarify.
Okay, so you're saying that the bulletin came out afterwards, so you should be held harmless because you didn't know it was illegal?
Well, I don't know if it still is illegal, but regardless, we weren't cited for any deficiencies.
Did they know at the time that you were doing this? That's what I'm asking.
Correct, yes.
They knew you were selling them for a penny, or you're saying that the pre-rolls are on us for your birthday?
100% correct.
They did. So do you have anything in writing from them that's saying this is okay?
I have a list of deficiencies that wasn't one of them.
And how am I supposed to know from the list of deficiencies that they're aware of that when they inspected you? I mean, they may not have observed you selling them for a penny.
Yeah, no, they did. So what they do is they actually go into metric. They go into the seed to sale tracking system, which shows all the transactions that happen within our POS system. So they've been able to see all of our transactions and all of the other licensees throughout the state. And so like, how do I prove that to you? We'd have to most likely have them intervene and talk with them directly.
Okay. And you're still doing this?
No, we passed our inspection and this was I think we wrapped up our inspection in mid-December, but I'd have to confirm.
Okay. I don't have any other questions.
Do any of the other board members have any questions? All right, seeing none, Chairwoman Joyce, is there a motion?
And we're voting on it right now? Oh, I have to defer. I want to look into this.
All right, so
Yeah. I'm not planning on voting on this. I need to read the CCC that came out after the article.
And you're also waiting for the receipts of the
Yeah,
dollar, whatever, or the penny, whatever.
yeah,
Penny joints.
thank you.
Right, so requesting receipts for the penny transactions, discounted transactions. And we're gonna defer this matter to the next voting meeting.
Yep.
Correct? All right. Is there a second? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so this matter will be deferred and the licensee will provide us with receipts of the discounted products that was sold. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna move on to our transactional hearing. I will call each item in the order it appears on the agenda. I will then ask who is present on behalf of the proposal before us. We only have 2 amendment requests from already approved establishments, so they each will have 5 minutes to present to the BCB, followed by questions and comments. We will then take public testimony, beginning with elected officials or their representatives, followed by the general public. After public testimony, we will move to a vote. Each board member has the ability to grant with conditions, defer, reject without prejudice, which means the applicant can return anytime with an application at this same location, or reject with prejudice, which means the applicant cannot reapply at this same location for 1 year. If you wish to testify, please sign up via the link that I will put in the chat. If you already signed up, you do not have to do it again. Please wait until the matter in which you would like to speak about is called. Do not use the chat function to give testimony. It would not be considered. Please state your full name, address, and affiliation, if any. Testimony will be limited to 2 minutes, at which time you'll be muted. The BCB does not give any more weight to spoken testimony than it does written testimony. The first item is the licensee is Zip Run Inc. The license premise is 1170 Morrissey Boulevard, Dorchester. The license type is a marijuana delivery operator license, and they are proposing an amendment in their operating hours. The current hours are 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week. The proposed hours are 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. 7 days a week. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
Gabriel.
Okay. All right, Gabe, you have 5 minutes. You may begin.
Great. Should I present my screen, or do you guys already have the deck on file?
Yeah, we can present your screen.
Okay. I don't believe I have the option, so I'll just go ahead and just speak anyways. It's short. Good afternoon, Chair and Commissioners. I'm here to present the operational hours of extension request. Essentially, Zip Run currently operates 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. We are proposing 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. Since operation, we've been open for a little bit over 2 years now. We have delivered over 100,000 successful deliveries since inception. We also have that same robust security system that we built out in the beginning, and we're continuing to use that process to monitor our vehicles and our entire operation. Next, Zip Run is simply just seeking parity with other cannabis establishments. For example, Nudia is 10 a.m. to 12 a.m., Rooted In is 10 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Apex Noir is 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. as well. And lastly, we held an ONS meeting on December 12th, 2024. We also held a meeting with the Port Norfolk Civic Association on January 21st, of which we received a letter of support from the Port Norfolk Civic Association. And that's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Chairwoman Joyce, do you have any questions?
So your delivery operator and the places that you mentioned, I believe are mostly retail. Can you tell me, what happened at the community meeting? Did anyone have any issues with it?
No, we received a letter of support from the community.
Okay.
It went well, very well. Everyone was pleased with how Zip Run has been as a neighbor since our 2 years of being there.
Okay. And I have no questions about that, but I want to remind you about your advertising. I know we had this discussion before about advertising in Neponset, and I was made aware of your advertising in South Boston. Doesn't seem to be in line with the regulations, so please, as you continue to do your operations, I know you're investing in marketing and advertising. You have to follow the rules and regulations.
Yep.
Are you aware of the issue of the one in South Boston based upon our conversation about the one in Neponset?
So the only issue that I was aware of is the signage that was on our building because we have an on-premise issue with that. So which we took down maybe a year ago or so. I can't remember the exact time frame. As it results to the Dorchester and South Boston signage, we've had discussions with the CCC about our advertisement, and we haven't had any issues with it. So from the CCC level, I haven't heard any complaints. There was a question in regards to, I think it's 85% or of 21 or plus viewing your advertisement, and both of those advertisements met that threshold, and we also sent that to the CCC. So I don't believe we're within any violation at this current time, but we were when it came to the on-premise sign, which we took down, which said, I believe, cannabis on it at the time.
So the one on the corner of L and Broadway, CCC has said is okay.
Well, yeah, they haven't reached out in regards to that. I've constantly had contact with the CCC because we're just adding more vehicles to our fleet. So anytime we add more vehicles, we do a virtual inspection with the CCC. So if anything comes up within that virtual inspection, they'll make mention of anything that they might deem, deficiency worthy outside of that current vehicle that's being inspected. And they have not mentioned anything about our advertisement. So
Okay.
as far as I'm concerned, we are on the up and up.
Okay. Just wanted to make you aware, some people brought that to my attention. I don't have any questions about the extension of hours.
Commissioner Holmes? Commissioner Smith?
Thank you, Jasmine. No.
Commissioner Camacho?
No questions.
Commissioner Soto? I think you said no questions. Commissioner Sono? Gandhi?
No questions. Thank you, Jasmine.
All right, seeing no questions, is there anyone that would like to speak on this matter, starting with elected officials or their representative?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Eva Jones, representing the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services regarding 1170 Morrissey Boulevard. Our office will defer to the board's judgment on this matter. A community process was conducted, including an abutters meeting held on 12/12/24, which was attended by one constituent. They expressed concern regarding littered bags from the establishment and neighborhood, in the neighborhood, and the effort by the applicant to adhere to their community impact commitments. Ultimately, the constituent did submit a letter in opposition and does not support the applicant's proposal at this time. The applicant did review their application with the Port Norfolk Civic Association, which convened on 1/21/25. The association has expressed support regarding the proposal and has also provided a letter in support. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to provide testimony on this matter?
Gabe, just double check that advertisement. It says weed on it, and according to the CCC regulations, you can't use terms commonly used in pop culture to describe marijuana. Just make sure
Yeah.
that's compliance.
Cool. I have a virtual inspection with one of our, overseers of our accounts next week, so I'll definitely touch base with them then.
Okay, thanks.
Chair, do you have a motion for this matter?
I make a motion to approve the amended hours.
Is there a second?
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
And none opposed. All right, petition to change the hours is granted.
Thank you all. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Commissioners. I appreciate your time today. And Jasmine, of course, thank you as well.
You're welcome. The next matter we have, the licensee is I&I Rose Garden LLC. The license premise is 22 Birch Street, Rosendale. The license type is marijuana retailer license. The request is to amend the operating hours. The current hours are 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Friday through Sunday. The proposed hours are 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. 7 days a week. And they also are requesting a change of beneficial interest. The licensee seeks approval from the BCB to acquire additional investors and redistribute the ownership interest in the entity. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
I am Kijana Rose.
I am as well, Cedric Wally.
All right, you have 5 minutes. You may begin.
Yes, so just to review everything that Jasmine just said, we're here to extend our retail hours of operation from just the weekend to the full week. And we are also seeking the addition of Cedric and his team on as owners, so changing the beneficial interest. The retail operation, we originally had product manufacturing from Monday through Thursday with retail hours from Friday to Sunday. However, we are not going to be product manufacturing at 22 Birch Street anymore. And so we're hoping to extend the full to full retail, which was the initial plan and which was initially requested by the community. So we're happy that we're kind of making good on that. And then, yeah, as far as the ownership goes, Cedric and the team at Old World Remedies are coming in, and they're going to be part of the ownership team as well.
Thank you. Chairwoman Joyce, do you have any questions, comments?
My question about the ownership, I just want to make sure. So you're retaining 51%?
Correct.
Okay. I have no questions.
Commissioner Holmes?
I have a question, and I can't confirm it one way or the other because I don't have my other notes from her previous coming before us. But knowing me, didn't this board initially ask you if you were ever going to consider going into full retail? And I believe you told us no.
No, I always said yes.
The
I always said,
manufacturing and let me finish.
sorry.
Because the manufacturing and the bakery was your passion. Because I remember you because I felt that your concept was truly, truly exceptional and unique. So I do remember this. So to come before us now to ask for full retail, and I get that businesses don't always fall through how we plan them, but it's a kind of disingenuous because you're now in a buffer zone with another establishment, and that's my comment.
To respond to your comment, my plan was always to go full retail. However, I pressed that we had a really small team to start and that we wouldn't be able to manage 7 days of retail a week. Again, we've brought in new ownership, and so that plan has changed. So.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
Commissioner Smith, do you have any questions?
Thanks, Jasmine. So Cedric, you're representing Suzanne and Alan Rothenberg, or you're the...
Yes, I am.
Okay. And what is Old World Remedies? Is that a...
Old World Remedies is a marijuana retail operator. We have a store in Lynn, Massachusetts, and we decided to partner with Kijana to now help her open up her retail operation in Roslindale. We're just coming on with operational experience as well as some added capital to kind of get things moving and hopefully open up as soon as possible, which is what the community has really been asking for.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Of course.
Commissioner Camacho?
No questions.
Commissioner Soto?
Questions.
Commissioner Gandhi?
No questions.
Kathleen?
Thanks. Kijana, I'm just going back to my notes from the June 16th presentation. At that hearing, I asked you, in your buffer zone statement, you said there will be no product overlap with the other Roslindale dispensary, and you replied correct. And I asked, what's the makeup of the space? Half retail, half product manufacturing. So now product manufacturing is out. The buffer zone still exists. It was there anyways with the manufacturing and the retail, but is there going to be any product overlap?
There is probably going to be product overlap at this point. I think the reality is that we just could not create a sustainable business without there being some product overlap. We're going to be extremely mindful of the other brands that the other stores are carrying so that we're minimizing it as much as possible. But there realistically is going to be product overlap.
All right, so you're no longer doing manufacturing of your own products. You
Well,
you weren't going to, part of your buffer zone statement was that you weren't gonna have overlap, and now you're saying there probably will be. Can you give me some more information about what percentage of your products are gonna be overlap?
I can't realistically say a percentage right now just because there is going to have to be a level of oversight put into it to make sure that we're staying consistent with the other stores and being mindful of what they have. But to be clear, the product overlap will be in the literal product, as in there will be flour, there we will have pre-rolls, things that we were always planning on having, and they will be under the old world name. They just won't be under the I Rose Garden name.
Explain that to me. To me, what?
So we'll have the same level of product, not, we won't have as baked goods or things like that, but the same level of product manufacturing that Old World is already doing, they'll continue to do, and we'll have those products in our store. We just won't, but we will realistically, yeah, we will have to look to other brands and things like that and bring them in to the store. Initially, it was going to be 100% I Rose Garden products with much more minimal kind of us going up to other places. Like we wouldn't go to another place for other edibles, for example, but we would always have had to go to other places for other flour. So that same level is still going to be there. Old World does do a certain level of manufacturing, which they'll continue to do. We just won't be doing manufacturing at 22 Birch Street anymore.
Okay.
Any additional follow-up questions from the board members? All right, well now, oh, sorry. Commissioner Holmes, yeah.
Just quickly. So, ma'am, you were already doing some manufacturing in your own stuff.
Correct.
Okay. So you've already been open a little while.
Yes, we were open as a product manufacturer. Correct.
Okay. And were you also doing just the weekend retail originally, like you said?
No, we were just product manufacturing Monday through Thursday, but we were not able to. The idea was that we were going to generate revenue through product manufacturing to open retail, and that just did not become a realistic opportunity.
Okay. I got it. Okay, thank you for that.
Of course.
Any other follow-up questions from the board members? All right, we'll move to public testimony, beginning with elected officials or their representatives.
Madam Chair and members of the board, for the record, my name is Jeremy Bembury. I am the Rosendale Community Engagement Specialist for the Office of Neighborhood Services. The applicant has completed the community process, which consisted of an abutters meeting held on January 22nd with no abutters in attendance. Next, the project was not required to go before the Civic West Village Neighborhood Association, but they did submit feedback reporting no opposition. With that, thank you for your time, and the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services would like to defer to the board for their judgment at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other elected officials or their representatives? Diana.
Yes, good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the board. This is Diana Bronchuk from District 5 City Council Enrique Pepen's office. The councilor would like to ask for the board to delay in their vote and ask for the applicant to have another community meeting. We have personally not heard about this application change and feel that the community was not well targeted to be able to speak on its behalf as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other elected officials or their representatives?
Yes, Bill McGregor, State Rep in the 10th Suffolk District. Thank you for taking me, Commissioners and Chairwoman. So the state law is a half a mile. I believe this is within a quarter mile of the other business, and I think it's going to really hurt the other small business that is just so close. They're a small business owned by neighborhood residents. And as Councilor Pepin's staffer mentioned, there's no notification on at least to the other owners, or we also didn't hear anything. I typically don't weigh in on city issues, but obviously this sort of breaks the overlapping issue. So yeah, I just don't want to saturate the area. I think and I'll let the other owners speak, but I believe that they are okay with her staying open as a bakery and utilizing retail during the weekends. But so I just want to voice my opposition. Thank you.
Representative, are you opposed to the change in ownership, the beneficial interest?
I'm not opposed to the change in ownership. I am just I'm more worried about the business model, more or less.
Am I allowed to respond?
I think we should get through the public testimony because we might have more questions. I know I have more questions.
Okay.
Any other elected official or their representatives? Okay, we'll move to those that signed up. The first person we have is Tim West. No, Tim West. The next person.
No, I'm here. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Thanks. First time using Zoom. Sorry about that. Good afternoon. Thank you for your time in this forum. My name is Tim West. I live on Conway Street in Rosendale, so we're not in a butter, but we're right on the other side of the train tracks. So just a couple of yards from the subject location on Birch Street. Lifelong Bostonian. I shop and dine at most of the businesses in Rosendale Square. I speak today in opposition to the proposed change in hours, ownership, and seemingly usage for 22 Birch Street. When proposed as a business, I Rose Garden was to be a cannabis bakery / manufacturing space with limited weekend retail sales by appointment only for baked goods, edibles, and pre-rolls. The business would primarily sell cannabis goods on site to other local dispensaries and limited products to the public via appointment only on site. As a neighbor and potential customer, I was in full approval of this business type and hours of operation. It should be noted for the record that per the Boston Cannabis Board's own guidelines, no cannabis business can be approved within 500 feet of a school or within a half mile of an existing cannabis business. I Rose Garden was originally approved by the ZBA because it was deemed to not be in conflict with the half-mile buffer, as it was stated to be a bakery / manufacturing space with limited retail, and this is important, no overlapping product from the other cannabis location just 1/4 mile up the road. It should be noted that the comment about the type of business, i.e. bakery with no overlapping product, was what was stated by the proponent during the ZBA call. And the ZBA chairwoman also stated that this seeming non-conflict in regard to the use and products as a reason for approval. Fast forward to the abutters civic engagement meeting post from the City of Boston website for the January 22nd meeting. The language reads, Ionized Rose Garden, current hours for retail are Friday to Sunday, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. And then we previously had product manufacturing hours Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., but will no longer be doing manufacturing at Birch Street. This post seems deceptive, as the location, to my knowledge, has never been open for retail use. So it's not so much a shift, it's never been open for retail use that I know of. Based on this notice, retail hours are proposed to go from 42 retail hours a week to 98 retail hours a week, which is more than double the original business plan. And most notably, businesses will no longer be the business will no longer be a manufacturing facility, i.e. bakery, which is a clear departure from the stated plan. It seems clear this 180 degrees. Am I on? Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Sorry.
Someone keeps on muting.
Okay.
But you're
I'm
also
sorry.
at your 2 minutes if you want to just wrap
Yeah.
up.
Yep, I'll wrap it up. It seems clear that this 180-degree shift displays a plan to be full-blown dispensary. Most bakeries I shop at aren't open till 10 p.m. Importantly, this proposed shift is a significant increase to retail hours and departure from the manufacturing bakery retail, places this business in clear violation of the Boston Cannabis' own 1/2 mile buffer zone. This is disingenuous and, simply put, seemingly.
All right, Tim, that is your 2 minutes. Thank you. The next person is Mitch Rosenfeld.
Hi, thanks for having me. My name is Mitch Rosenfield. I live at 16 Fairview Street, and I am co-owner of the Rosendale Cannabis Co., which is the business in the buffer zone. And there's a couple things. I obviously have problems with your Rosendale, it makes up 5% of the population of Boston, and we currently have 10% of the dispensaries right now. You're talking with a per capita basis of probably the most saturated neighborhood in Boston already. And this project was completely promoted as a bakery, which I would support 100%. I would love to carry home like Rosendale baked goods at our dispensary, and that would be it. But this is not the model that was pushed. And if you go back to the ZBA minutes, into the previous cannabis board minutes, there's very specific language on that, and they talk about no overlapping product being a big factor, and the fact that this is a completely different business model. And now, we're going from a locally owned bakery to somebody who's, changing ownership to another cannabis dispensary entity who's going to come in and open the exact same thing. There's going to be, there's going to be the same exact product that we carry. And now, this is a business that we've invested in based on, there being a buffer zone. It just gets really problematic. And again, like, this is not like an underserved area. We have 3 dispensaries in an area. You look at Jamaica Plain has 2, West Roxbury has 1, Hyde Park has 0 open yet. This is not like this area isn't being served. And I think it's going to do a disservice to all these businesses if you put them close together like that. And, again, the main thing was that this is something completely different from what was being presented to be granted, a variance to that buffer zone. And now we're looking at a total 180, and it's, just doesn't seem right to me. And that's it. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Next we have Devani Patel. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Is Devani Patel on? All right, not seeing her. The next name we have is Eric Overseen.
Yep, Eric Ovison here. I actually live at 56 Neal Street in Walpole, Massachusetts. Grew up in Roslindale. I am part owner of a real estate company based out of Roslindale. Commissioner Chairs, I'm here today to share opposition and concerns about the significant changes being proposed by I&I Rose. What was initially presented as a manufacturing-focused business with limited retail hours is now shifting into a full-scale 7-day-a-week dispensary, moving away from the thoughtful business plan that was originally approved by the community. I&I Rose was envisioned as a cannabis-infused bakery and apothecary operating as a manufacturer from Monday through Thursday, supplying other dispensaries while offering retail sales by appointment only on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. This business plan was approved under specific conditions to minimize disruptions to existing businesses, parking, accessibility, and the overall flow of their community. Now they're seeking to change the plan entirely, transitioning to a full-time dispensary. This shift raises significant concerns. Deviation from the original ZBA conditions, the approval was granted based on limited retail model. Expanding to a 7-day retail dispensary is a major change that alters the foundation of the original agreement with the community. Traffic and accessibility changes. Birch Street was already a concern due to partial closures at the time of approval. Now with that street fully shut down, increased retail traffic could worsen congestion, impact parking, create additional challenges for local businesses, residents, particularly those with accessibility needs. New ownership with no local connection. The newly proposed ownership is made up of individuals with an existing cannabis business outside of Boston, with no prior ties to Roslindale. This is a departure from the original vision of a community-rooted business that was tailored to fit within our neighborhood. Need for proper review and oversight. Given the substantial changes in operations, it's only fair that this proposal undergoes a full review. The ZBA in Roslindale, the Massachusetts Cannabis Commission, the Boston Cannabis Board should reassess the application to ensure that it remains in line with community expectations and regulatory guidelines based on this new business plan. At its heart, this is about maintaining the integrity of the original commitment. The community supported I&I Rose because it was unique and carefully planned business with minimal retail impact, working with local dispensaries, not against. What is now being proposed is fundamentally different and is only the right that is given a thorough review before moving forward. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person we have is Rick Overseen. Is Rick on?
I see Rick on the bottom. He's struggling with his
Oh,
Can you hear me?
yeah, we hear you. Well, we did hear you.
Hello?
We can hear you now. Yeah.
Oh, great. Sorry. Um, Thank you for the board for hearing this. And I'm against this change of hours and operation. I'm also co-owner of the Rosendale Cannabis Company, and the initial plan was great. I was like looking forward to purchasing her product, Iron Rose product for for sale, and we found it was actually would be pretty cool fit. You know, appointment only. But now it's completely changed, and something that the buffer zone, was trying to prevent this. It's actually now it's happening, and now this whole new work model is just kind of against what they originally said. And the judgment for the buffer zone was, determined on that model. And it's kind of like a slap in the face if this kind of goes through. And yeah, so I'm completely against this. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes to testify that didn't get a chance to? All right, seeing no one. Any follow-up questions from the board member? Oh, Kijani, you wanted to
I could.
respond to.
Yeah, I would really just like to respond to a lot of the things that everyone just voiced, specifically to the Rosendale Cannabis Co-owners, because first of all, I go to your store, I support your business, I will continue to. I live in Rosendale, I have my entire life pretty much since I was 4 years old. When we came in and we presented this to the community, it was actually a major concern from the community that we were going to be closed as product manufacturers 4 days a week. They felt like Birch Street deserved more foot traffic. They wanted to see more people on the street. And we said from that point that we always had the intention that we would go full retail 7 days a week. We never expected to stay in Birch Street long. That space is 300 square feet for product manufacturing. So it is not feasible to do the kind of product manufacturing in that space that we would have to do to supply other dispensaries and our own. And we knew that from the beginning. It was always just a space where we would grow. The community, if you go back to the minutes on every single meeting, the community made a comment that they wanted to see the store open 7 days a week. So I do just want to make that so clear. And then I just want to make an appeal as a human being, as a person. What happened was we got into business and we realized that the market was not the market that we were promised, and we were not able to generate the revenue that we had expected. And we had to pivot. I'm still a majority owner of the business, and I, again, am a Rosendale native and have been since I was 4. It's so unfair for you guys to come in here and say a lot of the things that you've said. And I really wish you guys would have showed up in our community meetings and the many spaces that we came in to have these conversations, because I would have loved to talk to you about that as human to human there. I would have loved to figure out ways that we can support each other and make sure that we're not overlapping and that we're not stepping on each other's toes. It's not our intention to do that. We want to see everyone win, but there is space for another retail store to exist in Roslindale. The city knows and understands that the buffer zone is not even realistic within the city. It's the same argument you guys were making before. So I just really hope that you guys can, reconsider. I'd love to have a conversation with you guys face to face, but really reconsider your positioning as business owners, because I know you guys have opened multiple stores. You guys are also multiple store owners. It's kind of unfair for you guys to make it seem like we're bringing in some, big time MSO owner. We're not. Cedric and Joel and the Rothenbergs, those guys are local to Massachusetts, just like you guys. They live all over Massachusetts, just like you. So I think we just really need to be open and fair and remember that this is a business. I am one single human being, and I'm trying to make sure that this business stays afloat. I have investors and so many people that are waiting for money to be paid back to them, and all that pressure is on me. And so I found a way to keep the business going, and I really just want to appeal to people as a human. Like, this is to hold us off any longer. We've been in process of trying to transfer this ownership for a year now. And so there are just so many people, so many delays happening, and it's only getting worse for the community. The community desperately wants to see this store open.
Kijana, do you mind if I just, I don't want to interrupt what you're saying, but I want to add to it if you don't mind.
Please.
I know that the bakery, and I know you've been in touch with my staff for over a year, that the bakery was not sustainable for you as a business owner. It was an economic decision that you weren't able to move forward as a bakery. That being said, for the people on the call today, this has always been approved for retail. Retail could be a bakery, retail could be the sale of marijuana products. However, this concept has totally changed. I have no issue with the change of ownership. I do have an issue with the change in concept because you pierced the buffer zone. And I know you were an equity applicant, but you pierced the buffer zone in your buffer statement. And in my opinion, as commissioner, what weighed in favor of you piercing the buffer zone, and we don't always take competition into consideration, but was because you had this very unique concept. It sounds like today you're saying, I can't move forward with this unique concept because I don't have the money to be successful. So now I'm going back to a regular, straightforward retail concept. I believe you owe it to the community to have further process. I think they knew about it. It's clear here. I think you need to talk to them.
I just want to say one thing. We have had multiple community meetings. We have met with the community. All the business owners understand what's going on.
I understand the business owners, but I think the community deserves another community meeting. And because this is wholly different, and I know it's a financial economical thing. I don't want to slow you down. I don't mind the change in ownership, but I do mind that this does happen. But I think as a business person, you owe it to the community to go back and have another meeting and listen to their concerns. Again, competition is not a factor in my eyes to deny an application, but I think there has to be a better process here. Not the neighborhood is well served. What are you going to do? Are your hours different? Like, is your location different? I mean, I also license alcohol establishments too, and there's oftentimes multiple package stores on the same block, multiple restaurants that serve beer and wine on the same block. But I think you owe it to the community to go back.
Chairwoman, I absolutely agree that I am more than willing. I love this community, and this community supports me, regardless of the people on this call. And I'm more than willing to go back and have extensive conversations with the community and to discuss further, and including the store owners on this call. I'm willing to have extensive conversations with them to make sure that we aren't stepping on their toes and that we're working together in community. However, I beg of you, please do not delay this much further. You don't understand. I've been in this process for over a year. This has created such an economical distress in my life. I am trying to move forward. And also the community deserves to see this store open. If we're able to approve this now, there's a possibility of seeing the store open by the summertime. This has been 5 years in process. So
again, I have no problem with the change of ownership. I think you should go back to the community about the concept.
I'll go back to the community about the concept, but we do need to get the hours approved to change as well. I will absolutely go back to the community.
To amend the hours by one, so it's by 1 hour a day?
For
your Friday to Sunday, 7 days a week? Okay, well, we'll take a vote on both, but I'm going to condition that vote on a full community process. And
I will go back to the community. I will have extensive community meetings.
The change of hours, though, I do believe that should be something that goes before the community too.
This is what the community wanted. If you go back to our community meeting, to our ZBA meeting, and to our Boston Cannabis Board meeting, people got on every single one of those and said that they were upset that we were going to be closed for 4 days a week. The community wants there to be retail there 7 days.
They want retail, they want foot traffic. I get that.
They do.
But what you are proposing today is wholly different than what the community heard before. So I am going to see if I'm going to ask you to go back to the community. The change in beneficial interest, I propose we take a vote on today with the condition that you go back to the community about the change of hours and the change of concept. It's a wholly different concept. And if some places open 4 days a week, that's different than 7 days a week. I agree they probably want foot traffic, but I think
it's just not fair. It's just hard because we did go to the community. We've had 3 community meetings in the last 2 months. We've gone to the community, and they didn't oppose it.
Jeremy from ONS had his hand raised. Maybe he can add some color what happened at the community meeting.
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to chime in there just to give a brief overview of the meeting that did take place. I did hold a meeting on January 22nd for I&I Rose Garden, 22 Birch Street. Current hours of retail were for Friday to Sunday, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. They were requesting to extend to Monday to Sunday, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. They previously had product manufacturing hours Monday through Thursday, 8 to 8, but they will no longer be doing the manufacturing, was the nature of the entirety of the meeting. I just wanted to make that clear. The meeting was for the extension of hours.
So, Jeremy, how many people attended the meeting? Who was there?
Yes, ma'am, of course. I always keep track of that as well. The meeting was not heavily attended. Again, they were well notified. I have the information here of the notification process. No abutters did choose to attend the meeting. They were also not required to present before the West Village Neighborhood Association, as they did not feel it was necessary. They simply took a vote, and that vote was in no opposition.
So who said it wasn't necessary to present to the West Village Neighborhood Association?
I believe they make that
West
decision
Village
on
did?
their.
Okay.
Yes, and we did present to the Rosendale Village Main Streets Association as well. And the other thing is, I honestly did not expect that we were going to have opposition on this call, but all of those people would have gladly shown up here in today in support. I told everyone, no, this is not something that we're opposed to, because we have heard no opposition from the community. Cedric and I went door to door, flyering, talking to people. We've introduced the new owners. You know, again, they were making it seem like we're bringing in these big new owners. These guys are same age as me. We have the same vision. We have the same goals, and we just want to see cannabis do well in the state. That's really it. They just want to see the store come to life, just like the community does. But we have gotten no opposition in the community, and the community has known about this for over a year.
I am just wondering what we could have even done differently leading up to today, because we thought that we had done our due diligence in terms of speaking to the community, having these meetings, and really staying in line with everything that both the BCB and the CCC wanted us to do in order to be approved. So of course we can talk more with the community, but I'm not sure what we could have done differently leading up to today to be better prepared in terms of us being available and an asset to the community to talk to.
Okay. Tim, you have your hand raised, but you already spoke. So is there anyone else that would like to provide testimony? Do any of the commissioners have any follow-up questions?
If I could just respond to the gentleman's last comment. I think it is important to recognize the fact that the state rep and the city councilor both had similar commentary. That is, in my experience, I've been only on this for a little over a year. That's the first time I've seen it. And that is worth noting, right? And so if the folks that are elected to represent the people that live in that area feel moved to participate, personally in this setting, to me, it does sort of represent the need, at the very least, to be connecting with them directly, right? Because it sounded like maybe the message hadn't necessarily reached them as clearly as you have advocated for it today. And so that to just answer the question that you posed, that would be my quick response to it.
And I do agree with that. I did not notify the elected officials of this change. In the past, we have always gotten support from the elected officials' office. I do believe that some of our opposers here today did notify the elected officials, and that is why they are here. And I will be in touch with them today to make sure that I set up times and meetings with every single one of their offices. That wasn't oversight on my part. And I do apologize for that, but I also feel very confident that after the conversations that I will have with the elected officials, that we'll be all on the same page.
All right. Any other comments from the commissioners? All right, Chairwoman Joyce, is there a vote?
Yes. I make a motion to vote in favor of the change of beneficial interest and to defer the vote on the change of hours and require the applicant to go back to the community to discuss the change of hours and the change of business concept.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and none opposed. So the change of beneficial interest is granted. The change of hours is deferred until the licensee conducts another community meeting.
And
Outline.
the board will, if you have that meeting and you come back to us and say you're ready to come back, we will make sure that this is heard in an expeditious way.
So I just want to ask then, if we're able to have this meeting within the next 2 weeks, will we be able to come back on the next agenda?
Yeah, and I'm even saying we might even have a special meeting for you if it's this dire, but I'm asking you to do your part.
Will
The
do.
fact that the
Understood.
opposition went to the elected officials and you didn't, I think you owe them and you owe the community an opportunity to weigh in and hear. I mean, we're aware of your financial struggles in the last year, but you have to tell your story better and you have to get support. You can't just do this bait and switch to the community, even though legally you're able to because the concept is approved.
And it's not a bait and switch. If I had known that we had opposition here, we would have had 100 more voices of
Okay,
support.
we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time today. Appreciate it.
Right. We're gonna move on to our old and new business. And please note that the board will not accept any additional testimony on this matter. The applicant is Green Line Boston Inc. The license premise is 100 to 114 Hampton Street, Roxbury. The license type is a marijuana retail license. The proposed hours of operation are 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. 7 days a week. This is a non-equity applicant and there is a buffer zone conflict. Chairwoman Joyce.
So again, just asking some clarification, Jasmine, they're already approved for marijuana cultivator and product manufacturer. So this is a request to add retail, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I'm opposed to retail at this location for the same reasons I was opposed to retail at South End Cannabis LLC. Its proximity to a sober house, its proximity to Mass and Cass. I don't see any difference here.
Ridiculous how much.
The original support, a lot of the original support was for product manufacturing cultivation. I'm in total support of retail, but not cannabis retail here. Open up a coffee shop, open up a bookstore, I think that's great. But to me, that's a bad location for cannabis retail.
Commissioner Holmes.
Not a time for my mouse to fail. I agree completely with the chairwoman's words.
Commissioner Smith.
Thank you, Jasmine. Yeah, I second that.
Commissioner Camacho.
I do as well.
Commissioner Soto.
I think just the thought that I have about this is how the timing and the kind of challenges in kind of arriving to the point that we've arrived to, I think really kind of shows how challenging and difficult this process can be. And I think two things can be true. I think that can be incredibly challenging, difficult, and frustrating. And at the same time, kind of where the public was in their understanding of what was agreed upon versus what was presented in the last iteration are two wholly different things. So I concur with my colleagues.
Commissioner Gandhi.
I concur with my colleagues as well here. Thank you so much, Jasmine.
Chairman Joyce, is there a vote?
I vote to reject this application.
With prejudice, without?
I think South End Cannabis was with prejudice, so my vote's the same. I reject it with prejudice.
All right. Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
And none opposed. So this application is rejected with prejudice, which means they cannot reapply at this location for 1 year. All right, those were all the matters before the board today. The board's next meeting will take place on March 12th at 1 p.m. Thank you all for attending and enjoy the rest of your day.